I begin the video in a sort of sad situation, because in my situation, when I connect to the wiring of the matrix and I need to go, I can't always talk to myself because I no longer just want to. I need to expand. I need to broad road cast, casting into the lake. When you throw a jack into the lake, he's always looking for the spirit, because you curl that worm onto the hook. On one side it looks like a U, on the other side it looks like a U, but at the two ends of tails, it's not you at all. And the fish is in the water. And man has 5 gallons, or whatever it is, 10 pounds of water in his head. Man goes swimming. Do you want to know about the Big Bang? You see, it's not that I know anything or everything at all. It's just the Big Bang goes like this. God put in position, as you can say, let me call it the tires of life. Have you ever seen the way cars go to the racetrack and they burn their tires? Or what God does is he takes 4 of these and he puts them together. And instead of turning them in sequence like this, he turns one this way and the other this way. So they friction. They friction, they cause a combustion on the inside. The electricity stops everything from going outside as they overlap on top of each other and below. And once the friction has burnt off the oil and the rubber, it causes the explosion, which creates the density from within the world that creates now the gravity. Mars, Shen, empty can. Mars is like a canal. In fact, let me say that Jupiter might be the canal. Jupiter, okay, you must rise. In a canal, the water is here, and on the other side it's here. So the boat has to come in and go down. But if you go down, you're down. You were up, now you're down. I don't want to be up and down. I want to be in the center of the canal where the water is. Mars has 2 outlets, one on each side. It goes in here and goes out here. There's a pipe like this, so it doesn't rush on through, so it doesn't bust the gates, because there's only so much you can take within your mind. Mars is an empty can. It has no heart. The Wizard of Oz and all the reasons for all the elements that happened in the show is telling all about creation. Now sometimes, and I always will lose myself and have to come back to the start, but for me there is no start. The actual start, like I said before, you start at 5 and you go -5 to +5. When man comes in, you need to create 4 corners. So you go to -9 and +9. But it's not done exactly in that fashion, because 10 is 10, and we need a face, and we need a cube, and we need 9 areas of the pound key to be fit upon it. Now I know you're going to watch this, but unless you ask and tell me what you don't understand, I am high-wired. How am I high-wired? Well, in the brain, the flow of the ocean, okay, is based on how you think. If you think real crooked, one of the planets will tilt, which will rock the energy of the earth underneath the oceans, and we'll have a tsunami. It takes time to go in and it takes time to leave. Here's the middle. You got a horn that starts here and it ends here, like the horn. The 2 points that come together is the electricity that brings on through the water. That falls. You go into the canal. You want to get 1 over the 6. On the dice it's 7. 3 over the 4. 7. 2 over the 5. You want to get 2 over the 5. 7. And you want to be 6 over the 5. 11. 7, 11, 18. 666. How to create 666? By 999, it creates 111. The 111 comes out of the 7 worlds, creating the 666 to connect. We now have 3 worlds of 777 of the one spirit. If 1 dies from 666 to 7, 7 becomes 6. The second 7 becomes 6, and the third 7 becomes 6. 1 down on each, but 2 up. Because of the angel in the sky, and you have now taken part, left part of this world, but you took part of this world with you. It's all in your mind. What is the wording? The wording is you're just ahead of something because it's the way you think that brings you anywhere. You're nothing but the thought because it's a thought that makes the actions of the rest, and however you move. The letter R is angel resident. It is created by 666. Those are three numbers in Trinity. But in order to create in three numbers, so we level it off that each position gets only one number to start of the three parts of 4, what we do is we do LF, the 12th letter and the 6th letter, but the L has two numbers in it because they're combined, 1 and 2, alpha, beta, the 3 dice, and the 6 dice, because you create it once, you create it twice, and the 6 dice has a 3 on each side, the 3 dice is cut on an angle, 18 of 9 and 9, or if you want, multiply 9 by 9 times, and the answer you will get will be the life history of the ending of man, of where it started. For some reason I seem to know it all and I don't want to be shy, but no one's asking me and I'm only talking to myself and it's 6 a.m. in the morning. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Am I putting pressure on people? Well, you know what, I feel like I have pressure on me, so I put out the video. For those who want to watch, it's okay. But for what's been going on in my life and all these numbers, how the numbers work, how to get 666, because with one of the 6, you get 1, 7. With one of the 6s, you get 2, 8. With one of the 6s, you get creation, 3, 9. 3, excuse me, where was I? Yes, 6 and 1, 6 and 2, 6 and 3. 7, 8, 9. The bottom row of the key of your telephone. The 7th gate, the 7th God of the 8th heaven of the 9th birth. But 9 is only one. It's a new birth and an only birth. At 1 year old, it was 1 year old, and at 1 year old, they were born. It's in the past. It's like opening up a gift. It only happens once. Once you turn it over, it's worth less than the percentage. So the less than the percentage of 9 becomes 6, because in between the creation 3 and the birth 9, the center is 6. But in fact, there's a decimal that could arrive because you must complicate your life and work with 5, 5 and 6, the 2 highest on a cube. The 5 actually comes from 2 dice on a cube and a 1 dice in the center. It took 3 parts to create 1 part, but to create the first 2 dice, it took 2 moves from 1 to create 3. Mars, Earthling, Venus. Venus is 2, man is 6. I'm very, very tired and I don't know where to go. There's so many things. Ask me anything. Ask me about Christ. Ask me about Santa Claus. Ask me about sports. Ask me about anything. Ask me about penalties and how come this and how come that. Now some of the answers will be general because the question will be general. But I can break down anything I feel like and want to in order to get the in-between of the totality of what it is. When you have a dot above your head, it comes down to 2 shoulders. When you have the 2 shoulders, it goes down to your waist, to where your belly button is 1 dot. And from the 1 dot, you go down to the 2 legs. 2, 1, 2. 2 before the train track, 2 after the train track, and 1 on the train track. 2 before you turn the corner, and 2 after the corner. But now you made 2, 3, 4, 5. The other one, you had 2 plus the train track. 2, which is like 11. The train, R and R, and that's exactly who man is. You see, now this is a terrible explanation. I'm not getting into any detail. How 2 and 2 works, 1 comes to 2, and 2 bring it back to 1. In the center of where it connects, it will connect the 2, 5, and 8. But it won't connect the 2, 5, and 8. It will connect 2, 4, 6, 8, and it will create a box. And then it will create 10, 13, 17, 20, 24, and 24, and 26, 22 and 24, excuse me, which creates an X, but like it's a stop sign split in half and put on the other side. So it's open. And then it creates an X and it creates your body. It also creates part of the baseball because if you roll that back over, it becomes the ball. Roll over, Rover. Rover, Red Rover. Who coming over? The good Lord is on the way back, my friends. The intensity that I had tonight outwards with others, shocked not only them, but it shocked me. It's a little sad to know I'm coming home with a plain little library of, I guess, verbal verbs, just something to say. There are 364 days, but 360 degrees around. Why? Because they put the moon right between the cat's ears. And what they hear from the moon, what they hear through the ears is now through the moon. Since the two world is the two world, you have one to the left and one to the right, which is numbers 4 and 6 as coordinates. It makes 2 and 2, making 4 days. Now we have 364 days, in which is 13 moons by 28 days, equaling to 364. If we wouldn't use the moon at all, we'd have 360 but no connection. So now we have something missing. Although we have the moon, we need the seed that goes inside the mind, which takes up a star. You cross 3 times a star, the average is 5, 5 times 5 equals 125, plus the 4 for the moon equals 5.25. 365.25 for 360 degrees in the year in order to connect the earth, who is 2, for man, who is 1 and 1. One of who he is and the one of God's Spirit. The one in the sky is the 2 in the ground. 6 feet down, 2 feet up, 2 and 6. Venus and Earth. Earth is the opposition to Mars. And the reason it's the opposition to Mars is because whatever man knows, Mars has to know that side, plus its own side. It automatically knows. We can't get on to the other side, so we have to sort of talk in a little way till we can open up the gate. When you start talking like the robot, you can now follow the speed of the matrix. Although you are at a slow speed, eventually it will pick up like a freight train, like an 8 train, like Spanish train. He drew the 8 of diamonds. It wasn't just an 8 of diamonds, it was the freight car, the 8 car. And the devil, what was he holding as he slipped another ace? What did he slip out of his ass? Because he had 4 asses, said in French. So the straight of the train kept on rolling. Yet, the railway man, if I remember, kept on crying. 10,000 souls were on the line. God is 10 minus 5 plus 5, and then spirit, angel, and man, an egg each. 10,000. Soon went up to 59 minutes, 59 seconds. 5 is Z, 9 is I, the French reverse it. In all, if it was global, inside a circle, it's a E-I-E-I-O is where we are and away we go. Farmer in the dell. The wolf and the 3 pigs. Connection to the heavens. The wolf is the moon. He has to blow their house down. Otherwise, they'll never learn. They blow and they howl at the moon for the information that comes in and goes out. The locks and the Suez Canal. Bringing both sides of your mind together. Right now, we're like this because everything was on a tilt. When you can bring that properly together, you now connect to the secondary world they call the matrix. It runs on speeds of 110 and 85. It's almost like the pressure of your blood. The 110 and 85 means if you drive over 140 and your blood pressure goes to 140, you're going to have a hard time. If it's running 140 in your head, you won't be able to pick up the information. So you slow down the car, it's less dangerous, and now the information starts to trickle in because you're not worried about getting that speeding ticket. Don't worry about the speed. The matrix knows what you want, what you need, what you can go forward with. But if you go tackle for more and more, you'll have a heart attack. All in the need of speed to puzzle and piece everything together till it's one big song. From sports to memorabilia to sports teams, players, and numbers associated with general and private things. Not talking about the body, but general in life. It seems not to be too much. And when you're private, well, you're very private, but in the Army, when you're a private, you have to let go and tell them everything. 6:22:6. So right now, it's time for me to go to sleep because I have my water inside the gates. Because if you run out of water, you can walk under and over the bridge. But if you run out of water, the boat can't sail. The difference of running out of water and you always want to be in the water is that when you have sex, you want to go over. Because when a pinball that made of that silver nickel goes over to cement, it makes noise. And it makes noise and it makes you feel funny. Because when you're having sex, that's the vibration. You get it in the dry lands. You get your mind for thinking in the wetlands. You end up in the dry lands to become wet. And you were all excited. Raphael 7286.